Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Sunday Morning Coffee with Lisa. I'm Spiritual Coach Lisa Hopp. It is Sunday, June 14th, 2020. If you're new to my podcast, very welcome. Thank you so much. Please check out my website at lisahopp.com. That's lisahopp.com for all of my services and all my upcoming events. I'm a spiritual coach, intuitive coach, teacher, hypnotherapist very soon, and I've also written a couple books. I also channel angel messages, which are available online, so please check all of that out. I would love to hear from you. And for those of you coming back, thank you so much. Welcome, and thank you for all the feedback you give to me every week. Excuse my scratchy voice. Excuse my tired voice. It is a very tiring week, but I'm very happy to be here. This week's topic is love and expectation. I had an aha the other day. The one part of this quarantine I've enjoyed is the opportunity to be able to go to different parishes and to be a part of their masses. I don't have to pick one. I can get in there any time and follow their practices, their prayers, their masses, perhaps other services, though I tend myself to lean Catholic because I was raised that way. The other day I was looking again and checking out a more traditional church in the area, and happened to click on something and be connected to the private social media page of the rector of the church, which happened to be a priest that I knew 30 years ago. And I have to say, though I'm sad to say, that I was very struck, disappointed, saddened, appalled by the hate, vitriol, negativity, judgment, name-calling on both pages. I expected more. I didn't understand why it was allowed. And it was talking about people. It was talking about the Pope, politicians, a good group. And I had to ponder my disappointment, because I always do. I always like to review why I feel a certain way and what am I supposed to learn from this, and that's one of my ahas. I started to think about why I had the expectation that these two pages would be more holy and positive and good. After all, they're human, and humans come with egos and prejudices and feelings and beliefs and life experiences and perceptions. And I then went on to think about the expectations and realized that my expectations were built on positive experiences. And what could I do, knowing it was built from positive experiences, that grew myself? Because I'm always trying to do that. I'm ever a work in progress. Always under construction. Trying to be the best version of me I possibly can, and every once in a while slipping up. So I started to think about quite happily and pleasantly about the moments in my life that I've had with priests, with other religious in church. And I'd like to share this story very briefly. My first perception of a priest happened when I was just a toddler. A very holy man, very warm, very truthful, no matter what. Even if it meant being truthful about doctrine, came into our lives. He was someone to look up to. He was what you would hope a priest to be. The priest serving with him was a pedophile. Made the list and everything, and I knew that as a young child. He made me uncomfortable. I didn't want to be near him. It was a contradiction to the other priest, most definitely. But that priest, I remember him to this day with his big smile. He was all that you would hope the embodiment of Christ to be. A second time was a Monsignor 20 years later, when I was lost and I'd had supernatural experiences and I wanted to be a priest and I didn't understand why I couldn't. And he had the patience of a saint, and he sat there and he tried his best to give me answers even when sometimes he really didn't have them. But he had all the time in the world for me. Another time was the priest that just recently I spoke of, with his Facebook page. Though my grandmother was not of the Catholic religion, when she passed, this priest came unexpectedly to her viewing to see how I was and to offer my family condolences. I was on top of the world with gratitude. Another time, also while quite young, I went to confession, and a priest stood up at the end. He put his hands on top of my head to give me absolution, and healing energy went right through me like a rush. And I knew that I had been healed. Why do these 4 experiences give me expectation? Because I've always wanted to be the best version of myself. I've always wanted to be a priest. I came to this earth knowing that I was meant to be a spiritual teacher. And those 4 experiences were my guides. I want to be like that. 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 And so my expectations were dashed when it wasn't like that. But I take it a step further and say that I came to an aha. I realized that it wasn't appropriate or right to just judge the pages, to just say, oh, some people aren't Christians. And bash them like they're bashing others. That puts me, well, that isn't the right thing to do. That's not who I want to be. So how should I be? When you see something that doesn't meet your expectations, it is a lesson to you that you need to be more loving. It is obvious that these people need more love. Because to be this way, there's something missing. And the only thing that can be missing is love. So if I want a priest to be more priestly, I have to be more holy. If I want to be able to trust my friends, I have to be more trustworthy, the most trustworthy. And by the way, I am. But if I ever catch myself questioning trustworthiness, I'll make sure that within myself it's not missing. It probably is, because trust starts with self. If someone cheats on me, how am I cheating myself? How can I rectify that? If someone talks behind my back, do I talk behind others' backs? If I don't want them to do it, then I shouldn't do it myself. So I was very excited the other day because you can't imagine the inner feelings I had at watching this, reading these posts. Yes, I'm not a member of the church, but most people check out like where they're going before they go. And so I think it's all right in this case. So as I read these posts and had all these lurching of emotions, I was excited to have the answer. It was almost like it was divinely given. Where you see lack of love, you give more love. Because that's what I wanted to do, by the way. I just wanted to join the page and say, I send you all love. They probably wouldn't have known what to do with it. I wonder how many of them would have found out that I was more of a spiritual person in practice and then started to go down a rabbit hole about me. But, that's a risk you take. But I haven't done that, by the way. Haven't spoken on their page, but it isn't really necessary for me to do that because I can send love through energy to all of them. And I can walk around this earth as the embodiment of love, smiling, being generous, being kind, always. Owning the highest version of myself and being the highest version of myself. So then I thought to myself, well, you don't want to bury your feelings because that's going to boomerang against you. I want to have good health. I want to have happiness. I don't want to bury rage and then it comes out later. So what am I going to do about that? Because inevitably, if you're living in this world with other humans, you can get hurt without even, and it comes out of nowhere. Even if you feel you have protection, you can put a white bubble around yourself that'll give protection, but how do I not store? So then I came up with this other brilliant idea. Aha. 3 ahas in 1 week. I'm exhausted. Once a day, as needed, go somewhere private and scream or cry. I think screaming's better though. In the car, in the shower, out somewhere where no one will hear you and call the police. Into a pillow. Silently would work. Because we naturally sponge. And so we don't want to live in denial. We don't want to be that person. I've seen movies. I saw a movie with Alan Alda. I think it was called 4 Seasons. It had Carol Burnett in it too. And one day it just melted down, Alan Alda's character, because it was Mr. Nice Guy all along. And then one day, enough was enough was enough. I just remembered another great example of my expectation of a priest. It was Father Mulcahy in MASH. I just want to be an instrument of joy, genuinely. And so the only way to be able to do that in this chaotic, hard, tough world where a lot of people are cranky right now, and understandably. So what do? I be that instrument of highest self. I am my highest self, and once a day, I clear my filters. Will you do that with me? Let's try it. Let's try it. It doesn't have to even be 30 days. Try it for a week. See how it goes. And also, being your highest self means that you don't vent. I vent. But my highest self doesn't. Vent in the shower, vent in the car, vent in a pillow. And I don't mean you're not allowed to talk to your friends. Venting's different. It lays your burden on them. And that's what we don't want to do. We don't want to be a burden. We want to be an instrument of joy, of love, of peace, of repose, of security. We want people to feel safe with us, don't we? And don't you want to feel all of that with another? Absolutely. The ability also to be yourself, to know I'm going to be this higher version of myself, but if I do screw up one day, it's all right, they've got me. Now what happens if you do try to be the highest version of yourself, and what you see on the outside world that makes you feel disappointed in your expectations? Causes you to go within. What's within me? And you work on that. And then you start to feel better, because it'll bounce off of you and it won't bother you like it used to. And then the less things bother you, the less and less your expectations will be disappointing. You probably will come to a place where you don't have them at all. So, raising expectations within yourself with information from your dashed expectations outside of yourself will erase expectations because they won't matter as much. More plainly speaking, in my own personal circumstance, when I give love out to this group of people in some way, whether it be verbally, whether it be energetically, love transforms. My being my highest version of myself will trickle over or flow over to others. Their pages will likely change because their feelings will change. So, my expectations will then be fulfilled. And it all started with me. What you want in another has to come from you first. And it brings joy, and it brings happiness, it brings prosperity, it brings health. I hope that helps a little bit today. I hope in some way that you can connect with my message today. There is a more expanded way we can look at expectations. We can connect it into money. We can definitely connect it into our more personal relationships. What you see missing on your outside, work on yourself on your inside. Why is your boss letting you down? How are you letting yourself down? Have you asked for the raise? Do you believe you deserve it? What are you afraid of? What is missing in your personal life? If you feel that people don't love you, how much do you love yourself? Our expectations are a glaring message about where we are in our expansion and in our growth. They are priceless informational tools. Don't just accept them. Complain about them. Let them annoy you. Use them as the mirror they are meant to be. Join me, try it. Let's all start practicing being the highest versions of ourselves. Thank you so much again. Be sure once again to go to my website, lisahop.com. And please like, subscribe, and share if you connected with this message. You're also welcome to like and follow me under Spiritual Coach Lisa Hop on Facebook. I appreciate you all. Have a very blessed Sunday and a wonderful week.